As cases of the coronavirus plateau across the country with a considerable spike among young people, public health officials are urging Americans to hang on a little longer while we speed ahead towards some degree of herd immunity.
It's almost a race between getting people vaccinating and this surge that seems to want to increase. The more and more people you get vaccinated, the closer and closer you get to control. I believe we're going to get there if we keep vaccinating people at the rate that we're doing right now.
So far, close to 65 million people in the U.S. are fully vaccinated. And while public health officials are clear that social distancing, mask rules, and travel warnings still apply when in public spaces and around vulnerable people who haven't gotten the vaccine, inoculation comes with new freedom to gather and socialize freely in ways that we haven't been able to do safely for more than a year now. And according to the latest guidelines from the CDC, that includes travel, too, with low risk for vaccinated people who fly within the U.S. Boston Globe travel writer Christopher Muther joined Jim Braude earlier this week to discuss.
Christopher, good to see you as always.
Great to see you as well.
So the CDC has finally spoken on travel. You're fully vaccinated. That means 2 shots Moderna Pfizer plus 2 weeks, or 1 Johnson & Johnson plus a week. If you are fully vaccinated, what can you do on the travel front?
So domestically, it means you can pretty much travel wherever. The thing is, before you could do that too, for the most part, depending on state restrictions. But now the CDC isn't going to throw shade in your direction if you travel. It just means if you're fully vaccinated and you're still taking precautions, the CDC is saying, okay, it's safe for you to travel now.
Now, are you vaccinated? Well, I'm not supposed to ask that, so let me put it in another way. Are you vaccinated?
That's like asking my age. I am not vaccinated.
Okay, I shouldn't have asked. But there are rules also if you are unvaccinated vis-a-vis travel. The basic rule is one word, don't, correct?
Exactly. The CDC still advises against people traveling if they're not vaccinated. There is, if you look at their page, however, like a long list of requirements if you are not vaccinated and still choose to travel. So you can do it, but they just don't recommend it. You know, there's no kind of teeth to it, I guess is what I'm saying.
So but for that, you get tested before, you get tested after, and if you have to quarantine, you quarantine, but it's much tighter, as you say, and their basic recommendation is don't. We're on the verge of having, I know cruise lines, but possibly airlines as well, requiring vaccinations for travel. Is that in our future?
That is in our future. Cruise lines are already requiring vaccinations. You know, the CDC still isn't allowing cruises to originate out of the U.S., so the cruise lines are getting a little crafty with that and originating out of the Caribbean. But, so right now there are no airlines that are requiring people to be vaccinated. However, there are countries that are requiring people to be vaccinated. So let's say you want to go to Iceland or you want to go to Belize. If you're vaccinated, fully vaccinated, you can go without quarantining now.
I see. So, Christopher, I'm guessing that most people sort of going to be a little faint of heart and probably stay closer to home. So let's spend a couple of minutes talking about a new old hotel and a brand new one, a boutique hotel right in my neighborhood. The new old one is the Ritz, and to say you were impressed is an understatement. Is that a fair statement?
I think that's a fair statement. I pretty much needed a fainting sofa and smelling salts when I walked in. I liked it so much.
Why?
They did a really great job. It's so sort of sophisticated and sublime in there in a way that isn't really Boston. Am I allowed to say that? I just said it. You're just going to have to go with that because I just said it. They did a really fantastic job. They brought in some internationally acclaimed designers. But I need to correct you, Jim. It's the old Ritz, and then it was the Taj up until
that's right.
2019. And the Taj was looking a little tattered around the edges. She wasn't what she used to be, is what I'm saying.
And what's the new thing going to be? I shouldn't say thing. The new hotel, what's it going to be called?
The Newbury.
The Newbury. But isn't that, I mean, people are still calling the TD or whatever the hell it is, Garden, the Garden. I mean, people are going to call, I know they're not going to like this, people are going to call it the Ritz, don't you think?
But they're always going to call it the Ritz. I mean, you have a building that's been around since 1927, and for, I don't know, 50 years, it was the Ritz. So you probably remember. I think, didn't you have your like debutante ball there?
I was there on opening night, I believe. You know, you quote the designer of the new Ritz as using words warm, playful, tailored. And when I read your story, was he talking about the hotel or was he talking about you?
Oh, go on, you. No, I mean, go on, really. Yes, that all describes me. Except for warm.
So,
I'd like to become a little icy. Yeah.
I find playful to be a more appropriate kind of thing. So can we get closer to home? I actually checked it out. A half mile from my house is this, and I've only seen the outside, 907 Main, and I have to tell you, I don't know anything about design. It is beautiful. And when I drove by on Saturday, there were people sitting. I don't think it's open yet, but there were people sitting on the roof deck, and it was great. What's your take on this place?
Well, I think you're right in that you said you don't know anything about design. Oh, no, I mean, in terms of that, you said you think it looks great. So I did stay there. I actually stayed there a few weeks ago, and it was, I think they did a really great job for Central Square, because Central Square, you don't think boutique hotel. And if they overdid it, let's say they turned it into the Newbury and they made it playful and tailored like me, then I don't think it would be like a good fit. As you know, Central Square, there's sort of that mix of gritty and academic. And so they found like the cool aspect of it that they use in their restaurant. And then the rooms themselves, I think if academic chic was an actual word or adjective or whatever, it should be applied to that.
Is this roof deck thing going to be open to the public, or you got to stay there to be there? Is it a bar or a restaurant or something? What is it?
It's a bar that serves bar bites, and it will be open to the public. And I think it's pretty much the only roof deck in that area. That's what they say. So I'm going on what they say. But yeah, I think it will be, you know, this summer, people will still want to be outside, even once they're vaccinated. So I think it's going to be a hit.
You know, before you leave, one of my favorite places on earth is Provincetown, and it was just voted as the 10th friendliest place in the United States. You wrote about that, and you had an interesting comment. You wrote, "All my gay friends are bitter queens." So I'm wondering if there's another Provincetown in the United States. Did you get any feedback on that analysis or no?
Well, you mean from my bitter queen friends or from other people?
Yes, I did. That's exactly what I meant. Yes. Do you get any feedback or no?
The thing is, when I make fun of my friends in print, they kind of love it, and they know it's true. I didn't hear from any bitchy queen writers, though. So, I mean, readers. I'm sorry. So I can't attest to that. Although I seem to recall you sent me an email about it under like a pseudonym of some sort.
Let me just say, if I may, I can't even look at you. One of the greatest places on earth, and it deserves to be in the top 10. Christopher, it's great to see you as always. I love the fake books behind you, too. They're beautiful. Good to see you.
Thank you for noticing.